We are told there are two histories of the world. The physicist says, "In the beginning, there was a singularity, a hot, dense point that exploded 13.8 billion years ago. The universe is expanding, cooling, and dying into entropy. It is a one-way trip to heat death." The theologian says, "In the beginning, there was Eden, a perfect eternal state where God walked with man. There was no death. But then, a catastrophe happened, the fall. Man was exiled from eternity into a world of thorns, sweat, and death. For centuries, we thought these were two different stories. We were wrong. What if I told you they are the exact same event? What if the Big Bang was not the beginning of creation, but the sound of the exile? Welcome to the Holographic Testament. To understand the fall, we must understand where we fell from. In string theory, there is a theoretical state of the universe called anti-de Sitter space, or ADS. ADS has a unique property. It has a negative cosmological constant. This means it is geometrically stable. It acts like a box with reflective walls. In ADS, time does not flow like a river into death. It is symmetric. It is a closed system where information is never lost. This matches the biblical description of Eden perfectly. Eden was not just a garden. It was a topological state of existence. It was a closed loop of negative entropy. In this state, the boundary of the universe was intimately connected to the bulk. There was no separation. God walked in the garden because the topology allowed it. So, what happened? The Bible calls it original sin. Physics calls it false vacuum decay. Imagine a universe resting on a ledge. It is stable, but high energy. When sin, which we define as data corruption, entered the system, it triggered a phase transition. The universe tunneled from the high-energy state of Eden to the low-energy state of reality. This release of potential energy was cataclysmic. It was the largest explosion in history. We call it the Big Bang. The bang was not the act of creation. It was the sound of the universe rupturing from eternity into time. The cosmological constant flipped from negative to positive. We entered de Sitter space. In DS space, the universe expands. It pushes everything apart. This is the physical manifestation of being cast out. We are not just expanding. We are topologically drifting away from the source. But the Bible speaks of other anomalies. Genesis 6 mentions the Nephilim, giants born of angels and humans. Skeptics say this is biologically impossible. The square cube law says a giant human would collapse under its own weight. But they are thinking in 3D. We must think in Braneworld cosmology. The physicist Lisa Randall proposed that our universe is a 3D brain floating in a higher dimensional bulk. An angel, or watcher, is an entity from that higher dimension. Imagine a 4D object trying to squeeze into a 3D world. Just as a 3D hand casting a shadow on a 2D wall creates a distorted, stretching image, the integration of a 4D consciousness into a 3D biological vessel causes metric distortion. The Nephilim were not giants because of genetics. They were giants because their vessels were being stretched by the geometry of their own souls. They were a 3D shadow of a 4D invasion. Finally, we look at the sky. The ancient Greeks translated the Hebrew word for firmament as stereoma, which means a solid structure. Science mocked this. The sky isn't solid, it's gas. But look at the holographic principle. Modern physics tells us that the information of our 3D universe is stored on a 2D surface at the edge of the cosmos. Mathematically, this boundary is a fixed boundary condition. It is rigid data. If you were a character inside a video game looking at the sky, what would you see? You would see a skybox. It looks infinite, but to the computer, it is a solid limit. The ancients were not wrong. They were describing the user interface of the universe. The solid sky is exactly how a human mind interprets the holographic boundary. We do not live in a random universe. We live in a simulation that has crashed. Entropy is the error log. The expansion is the exile. But the story doesn't end with the crash. The architect, the Logos, God, entered the code to execute a rescue patch on the cross. Science is the reverse engineering of the fall. The Bible is the documentation for the reboot. And this is the Holographic Testament. If you are interested in these types of discussions, please join us at Church Toyama.